This is the new facial interface from Oblik that uses a 3D scan of your face to create a custom molded facial interface that exactly matches the contours of your face to create the most comfortable, best fitting facial interface ever. Now, it does come at a cost, and we're going to get into that. Plus, I'm going to take you through the whole ordering process and how to create a 3D scan of your face. Plus, we'll see how well it works with both a clamshell and a halo style head strap, such as the AMVR and the Bobo VR S3 Pro ones that I have here. And we'll look at how it compares against the default facial interface and the one from AMVR 2. It's going to be a busy video. Let's get into it. So looking at the three different facial interfaces to start with. First up is the default facial interface. Now the first issue I had with this was the rough fabric that it's made of. Now it didn't irritate my skin like the original one did on the Quest 2, but it just felt a bit cheap and rough. And if I wore this for any period of time, then both of the sides here put pressures on the side of my head. Gave me a bit of a headache. Now some people were fine with it though, but for me, well, it just wasn't a good fit. Moving on to the AMVR one, and this was a big step up for me. Now it has adjustable depth levels in here, which the default one did have as well. However, on the AMVR one, it just allowed me to get my eyes even closer to the lenses, which gave me an even better field of view. It also had venting for extra breathability, which helped stop the lenses from fogging up, and that's something that the default one didn't have. It also came with a faux leather foam padded face pad that was not only more comfortable, also easier to keep clean, as you could just wipe it down, as opposed to your sweat just, well, soaking into the default facial interface. Now it wasn't without its issues though, because there was some light leakage, really just because of the generic nature of the facial interface with the depth adjusters. It's just not a sealed unit. Now I didn't notice that during playing games, I didn't find it significant, but there is definitely some. It was certainly way better than the default one though. The thicker pad on the top was an issue for some too, because whilst it distributed the weight of the headset across your forehead better, it also created a challenge for it working with some head straps like the Bobo VR S3 Pro. Now this does depend on the shape of your face and head, and I personally didn't have a problem with it, but it is something to be mindful of. Changing to the Oblik facial interface was next level though. There is no depth adjustment here because it doesn't need it, because it uses a 3D scan of your face to create the shortest possible distance from your eyes to the screen while still being comfortable to wear. I'll show you how to do the 3D scan in a bit. Venting has also been added to this now as the latest update from Oblik, and this works really well and was a needed change, as comment from buyers of earlier versions had commented that it created such a good seal around your eyes that lenses fogging up were a problem. Now that it's vented, that's no longer an issue, at least not for me. The padding on these definitely takes some getting used to though, because instead of the common PU leather, they've gone for a silicone face pad. Now this has several advantages. It's hypoallergenic, so it's not going to cause any skin irritation, and it's super sticky. And I don't mean that in an icky goo type sense. It doesn't slide around your face, it just stays in place and does so without causing any sense of friction on your face. If you're used to cloth or leather face pads though, then it will take a bit of getting used to, as the silicone is a lot firmer. However, because it stays in place on your face so much better, you generally don't have to have your head strap as tight. Now I've yet to see any facial interface that has no light leakage, but this is as close to it as you're going to get. Whilst playing games, I didn't notice any light disrupting my gameplay at all. And even with the screen turned off so it's completely black, there was no light streaming in through the vents at all, and even around the nose area, which I was concerned about, as it doesn't use a traditional nose guard flap and is rather using a hard printed guard. Well, there was only the smallest amount of light coming in through my nostrils. This really is light control done exceptionally well. So overall, this is an incredibly well-made piece of kit. So how compatible is it with different type of head straps? Because that's definitely been an issue for some people with the likes of the AMVR one. Well, I tried this with both the AMVR clamshell head strap here and the Bobo VR S3 Pro Halo style head strap, and it worked well with both, even if it does feel a little different with each. With the AMVR clamshell head strap, it fitted perfectly and easy went on without rubbing against anything, so no issues with compatibility. There are two important things to get right though to get the best fit against your face. First is to adjust the top strap so that it is short enough to take some of the weight of the headset off your face. This will help stop the headset pulling down on your face and putting a lot of the weight on your cheekbones. Second, get the angle of the headset arms right. You want the arms angled so that the facial interface sits flush with your face and its weight is evenly distributed across it. You can either angle it so it's slightly angled away from your cheekbones so that the forehead takes more of the weight, if you find that more comfortable. It's all about finding that sweet spot that's most comfortable for you. Once you do get that right, then I found the facial interface, whilst firmer to wear than typical face pads because of that silicone rather than foam face pad, didn't cause any discomfort or irritation even after hours of gameplay. Moving on to the Halo style head strap. Now with the Bobo VR S3 Pro, there are no issues with this facial interface fitting it. There is plenty of space between the facial interface and the head strap, especially around the forehead area, which gives plenty of room for the fan built into this head strap to blow air on your head to help keep you cool. You don't need to clamp this quite as tight as the clamshell style head straps, as it's the forehead bar across the top that takes the weight of the headset, not the facial interface against your face, which can make these types of head straps more comfortable for some people, myself included. Overall though, it's compatible with both styles of head strap, and which one you favour is really just personal preference. So it sounds awesome and you want one, but how do you get one? Well, there's 4 quick and easy steps you need to follow. First, download the Oblik app onto your phone, open it up and create an Oblik account. Second, from the main menu, go into the face scans menu option and select new face scan. Once you've added yourself as a new person, you can then go into the face scan itself. Think of it like taking a passport photo, so make sure that you are evenly lit, not wearing glasses, and there's no hair covering your forehead. You will then need to move your face closer to the phone until the vertical bar indicator is over the green section. And then move your head from side to side and up and down so that the floating dot aligns with each circle until they all disappear. That is your face scan done. Third, you need to create an order using this face scan. So from the main menu, select virtual prototypes and request a new prototype. Select the face scan you just created and select the VR headset you want the order for, as Oblik do facial interfaces for not only the Quest 3, but also the Quest 2 and Valve Index. You also need to answer some questions that tell Oblik more about you and how you use your headset, including which facial interface you currently use, how you use it, and what issues you currently have, such as whether you've got pressure on your face whilst playing, have poor field of view, or get hot whilst playing. Once you've answered all those questions, you can then request your prototype. Oblik will then take your face scan and the answers to your questions and use all that information to create a virtual prototype of your perfect facial interface. This process takes about 30 to 45 minutes and you will get a notification via email and also via the Oblik app when it's ready. So the last step once you get that notification is to simply log back into the app, have a look at the virtual prototype that they just created, and if you're happy with it, just add to cart and complete the order. Job done. Now they do also offer a guarantee that it will fit your face exactly, and if there are any issues, then, well, based on your specific issue, they can work with you to try and resolve it, they can send you out a replacement, or even offer a refund. It's actually through this collaboration between the customer and the business that has enabled them to improve the design of this facial interface with each iteration, such as the vented design that we now have on this one. And they've just started adding colour options too, so not only can you get the black and the grey version that I've got here, you can get the original light grey and the blue silicone cover, or you can even go and get purple and white as well, which I actually think looks pretty cool. So should you buy it? Well, if facial interfaces were cars, then this would be a Formula 1 car. Expensive, but custom molded to exactly match your face and provide you with the best fit you could ever get. At $89 it is expensive, but if you're one that mainly plays on your Quest 3, then it's money well spent. However, if lots of people play on your Quest 3, then a more generic facial interface makes more sense, such as the AMVR facial interface that I've got here. I will put purchase links to both of them, actually, and the head straps mentioned in this video as well, down below, so that you can go check them out for yourself. A slight caveat here for the Oblik facial interface though, in order to buy one, you are going to need an iPhone, as their app is only available for iOS and they also only ship to the US at the moment, although they are working on making it available in more countries soon. If you want to check out some more upgrades for your Quest 3, then be sure to check out the link up here. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and share it. Consider subscribing if you're not. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.